Hey, welcome back to HyRhealing, and in today's video, I'm going to talk about life update. So, first off, I want to just get this out of the way. Don't mind my lack of eye contact. Now, I don't know if it's just like Asian shame or if direct eye contact is like rude. I don't know. Now that I've been recording a lot of videos, I'm realizing I don't really stare at the camera, and it's a little awkward for me. It could just be because I'm like socially awkward or something. But I'm also like a thinker and I'm a channeler. I'm constantly tapping into into different messages, and that's usually coming out. So that's out of the way. Second thing is, the main thing is, this is not my first video. Now, a lot has happened and a lot has changed. I'm a changed person, and I started this channel back in 2022, and the branding was more like star seeds, quantum healing, galactic channeling, things like that. And I had to stop because the energies were just like not panning out. I have a lot to say and there was a lot to share, but it wasn't coming together. I don't know exactly, but I've narrowed it down to like 4 different points. Like, 1, you have to have a message, right? One that is worthy of sharing, that is going to help other people, right? Because 2, it needs to be in demand. It needs to be something that people are looking to utilize to, better their life or enrich them, right? And then 3, divine timing. It needs to be happening at a time kind of in a cosmic timeline where that information is fitting for, what they higher things need to come about to change, the trajectory of life, or to be presented, right, to create trends and revolutions and things like that. So divine timing, like the cosmics have to decide when that's going to occur. And then the 4th thing is divine protection circles. Like in the past, I was like struggling a lot with trying to offer like information of like really high caliber, and I mean, at least I believe it is, but like if you are somebody who is showing your light and the negative interference, right, the negative agenda, the enemy, the devil, demons, or whatever, like I'm not going to get into that into this video, but like that kind of like interference will affect like you trying to deliver precious knowledge to the public. So those were all of the points that were aligning for me, and so I had to just let it go, and now I am starting again. It is finally, some time has passed. It is time now to start again. Okay, moving forward. Again, this is not my first video. However, I have hidden all of my previous videos on this channel because this is going to be my new first video, even though it's like not my first video. It's just going to be something that's going to set a new foundation for the branding and where I am currently right now in my life, what's aligned for the information that I want to offer to the public and to you, right, the viewer. And so we're just going to re-debut and redo all of this. We're going to start with a brief overview of everything just to kind of catch you up with where I'm at right now. So quickly, 10 years ago, I started a spiritual journey, like went off and started doing that. And I went out to explore that spiritual journey because I hated my life. It was conventional. It was seemingly fine, but I grew up in a very patriarchal and conservative community, and I felt really depressed being raised in that environment. And I had been actually really depressed since birth. So I was continuing to live unhappy, but I was conformed, I was compromising, I was just surviving for a long time. I survived up until like 2016. And that's when that year, actually, my grandmother passes. And so my grandmother, ironically, actually, is a shaman and our community healer, and a matriarch. So, which is kind of like these not always like prevalent things that are encouraged in our community. But she was a very strong figure in our life, in my life. And when she died, I felt really lost. I wasn't very close to her, but it was just that death that really initially started the spiritual questions, like, what is life? Or what do we do if we're not spiritually protected? Or when somebody prominent in our community passes, who shares the knowledge? Like, who continues our lineage, essentially? So I had always been really fond of traditional forms of therapy. I mean, I had been really depressed in like school and stuff like that, so I had seeked out like traditional forms of like counseling and things like that, and self-help books and stuff. But I was realizing at that point in my life, positive thinking and like hope and unpackaging things, like it just wasn't cutting it anymore. And so I had to decide, like, I'm gonna lean really hard on something I don't quite understand, which is spirituality and faith. It's this, like subjective thing. Like, how do you measure it, right? So I move forward. I'm going to do something that's kind of more relative to what I understand. My community, or my ethnic group, we are Hmong, and our spiritual practice is Animism, which is the understanding and belief that all things and all objects have a soul. So the thing that worked for me, or really reflected like that kind of spiritual practice, was like witchy stuff. And it wasn't exactly like Wicca, but at the time, like witchy YouTube was like kind of coming about. Like, not the way that like spirituality has really come together, with like it being like commercial and marketable, and people are offering digital programs now and things like that. It was kitchen witches just sharing the things that they were doing in their life, and that being this very fluid like way of things, indigenous pagan forms of spiritual practice. That was kind of the route that I moved forward with. But I was very closeted because I was doing this like on my own. I was doing this in private. It wasn't like a conversation that a lot of people were talking about, and I wasn't very comfortable with talking about it too. So I kept it a secret, and I just did it very privately. However, New Age spirituality was kind of growing at the time, which is a beautiful community to be exploring and looking for answers for yourself, right? It's a place of growth. And I found myself really interested in things like priestess work, channeling, like galactic stuff, obviously, like witchy things. And loosely, I was kind of looking at like Marianne Williamson and Brene Brown and stuff like that, and just kind of like mixing and making this faith practice that really resonated with me. That was what I was going with. However, I was kind of hitting a plateau. 2020 hits, the world shuts down, and I'm already at the precipice of like things need to change yet again to continue like momentum, because 2019 I had closed out on my Saturn return, and falsities had been closed out, inauthenticity, connections that I had held on for like years, like decades, and they weren't aligning to me anymore. I had to grieve them. I had to release them. So it was a very transformative time already. I decide something needs to change. And surprisingly, ayahuasca actually arrives in town. A woman moves to my neighborhood and she is offering plant medicine, sacred plant medicine. I have no idea what psychedelics are. I really have no idea, but I was very surrendered because I still hated my life and I wanted to keep going. Something needed to change. So I signed up for my first ceremony with her, no prior research because YOLO, you know, I was like, you only live once, forget all of this. Like, I need to move forward because the things that I had been doing were nulling, they weren't progressing me. I go in and it completely changes my reality. My first ceremony was vivid. It was strong. It was bang. My ego death was hard. And it leads to me driving off into the sunset and doing a whole year of psychedelics. Like, I drop everything. I quit my job. I don't buy that house I was going to buy. You know, I don't get with a guy that I thought I was going to get with. Like, all of those things just all fell apart. It didn't make sense for me. It didn't resonate with me. It wasn't what I wanted anymore. Like, or what I think that I thought was something important. I don't know. Like, I broke a lot of relationships at the time too, abandoning everything to pursue this. And I move forward. Those ceremonies have been definitely on my mind still because I made a plethora of videos of every single ceremony, like really dissecting them, like really going in. I was receiving a lot of information and inspiration and passion about it. Like, it was like, oh, you know, this is it. Spirituality is the path that I want to go on and teach and excel and make a career out of, or even just being a spiritual teacher is my path. Like, I felt it so deeply. And so I was trying to launch my spiritual business with quantum healing and all of that stuff. Again, like, did not pan out. I'm compressing a lot. So there's a lot of details being mixed or missed. But overall, I'm just saying, you know, I had that huge curve of growth and then everything kind of like drops really hard because it's not lifting, it's not moving anywhere. Like, I have all of this information, all of this, you know, divine stuff to offer and backing and blah 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 da, 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 da. But it turns out that it's not gonna work out. So I had to just let go of my arrogance and my ego and just be like, okay, I need to stop. Things are just not aligned, especially since like negative interference was like really getting in the way. I was recognizing, like, I would record videos and like out of nowhere people would walk in, or like, you know, my camera will fall over and like break my lens, my nose starts bleeding out of nowhere. I'm running around with my head like cut off like a chicken, you know, and bad things kept happening to me. So I was like, okay, when somebody comes in with like great light, you know, the darkness or the shadow, right, wants to come and smother you. Hey, welcome back. Right when I was talking about the negative agenda and the negative interferences or whatever, the devil, like, everything started to malfunction. It was really weird digitally. My battery was running out. It was really weird because I had charged them and then my cord didn't like reach for my setup. So I ended up having to switch things around anyways. I was like, forget it. I'm going to take out my batteries, put them in the dock. I'm going to go eat. And I came back and I tried to set up like my lights and stuff like that. And it just went whatever. But moving forward, I will not be discouraged the way I was back then. But what happened back then was really chaos was occurring for me. So I stepped back. I decided I'm going to go back to school, and not like a conventional traditional route where I was going to go for like higher education, like college or anything like that. I decided I'm going to look for training, spiritual training. And at the time, I was very active. My crown chakra was very wide and open. And the ascended master that came to me was Mother Mary. She was really nurturing me back from all of the hardships that I was kind of experiencing through ayahuasca and through trying to put all of the spiritual stuff together. So she was a beautiful presence in my life. I had never seen myself as like a Christian-based, I live in the United States, so Christianity is like a very prominent culture here, so I can understand it, and a lot of my family is Christian. However, like my family, my direct nuclear family, we're not Christian, and so my influences were very, like, I don't know, minimal. I had an aunt who was Mormon, things like that. So I had an understanding of people who went to church or church Christianity, things like that. However, when she came to me, it was very beautiful. She ended up leading me to the Holy Womb chakra system. Now, this fully 180 completely shocks me too as well, because I don't have an aversion for Vedic based spiritual practices or anything, or spiritual traditions, but I never saw myself like having a guru master, doing mantras or anything like that. So after I really just dedicated myself to the Holy Womb chakra system and the process and learning the ropes and what building a spiritual practice in that tradition was like, I realized, oh my God, I need to seek more power. I want more training. Like, what is this miraculous, beautiful thing that is occurring in my life that is pleasantly surprising me and changing it, like, beautifully and easily, and divinizing, like, the things that had really been really depressing and melancholy and negative about my life. It was changing. My life was changing through these formulas. It was an incredible, weird experience. So I had to move forward. I had to be like, okay, what is this? Who knows? Maybe I'll back out whenever it is, Again, all of that stuff, completely history now, because when I decided that I needed to learn more about these healing methods, I enrolled in a 1-year mastery program, and now I came out, I think, a success, because now I am officially a healer in the ancient Indian tradition called Sai Shakti, which uses spiritual technology and the knowledge of supernatural saints. These methods are like a way to channel miracle energy to divinize your life, to change your karmas, to flip them from bad to good. And what's like really special about like this healing tradition is that it's not like somebody modern like making it up or conjuring methods and hodgepodging like love and light together and like just like hope it sticks or something. Like this body of work is like really cultivated healing technologies and techniques and formulas and methods, like directly channeled from the angels, like through the supernatural saints, through the rishis, like 4,000, 10,000 years ago, and then like recorded and then, kind of taken away to put into like protection, right? And put away into secrecy. And now, thank God, now the ancient knowledge is being brought back. So my guru, Sri Kaleshwar, he is a modern saint in the 90s, but he made it his life work to transcribe these ancient palm manuscripts. And he is documenting like these exact formulas and like offering like real solutions to like directly target like very modern, very practical concerns. Like the information from these palm manuscripts, like who knew 4,000, 10,000 years ago that we would need like the solution for these things, like, but applying it in a very practical way and then putting it into safety. And then now in this time and age, they are being brought out. Like this is a very, very special body of work. It's like very pure, it's like very divine. And I'm not even sure like how this energy is going to go public. Like it will translate the way that it does, and however people accept it or understand it, like utilize it. Like I don't know, you know, like how is like not my problem. And I'm not the only one who is coming out with this information. Like a lot of students are Sri Kaleshwar students. Like I am just one of many. Like my duty is to share my experience. Like I am being led right now by the lineage of the Sai Shakti tradition to finally present like what is happening and occurring in my life through these healing technologies, and like offering like also my healing services if anybody is like interested or like ready to like really flip their life with these methods. And I've been training, I've been holding my skills, I have been building my channels, you know, day in, day out, like really building a strong spiritual practice. And finally, like all of like the components are coming together, you know, the message, right? The personal experience that I have to share, to offer relativity, to be like, this is what can be done for you, like what you can achieve in your life. And the needed demand obviously is happening. Like if you are watching this video, I am hoping that you are not somebody living under a rock and not realizing that there's chaos like at this time and age of the current state of the nation and state of the world. Like divine technologies in this time can really help us like better and change like the course of the negativity that is happening and occurring right now. And it is the time, right? Divine timing is happening so that everything can come together, so that, hey, you know, now we're seeing like the bad side of things, and now we need solutions. Now we need to figure out, like, unfortunately we suffered a little, and now we need to be like, okay, we need to be very, very real. Like a lot of these things that have occurred can be because we made those decisions out of negligence, out of ignorance, or other people are arrogant and they're affecting our life. And the people who are hidden in the shadows, or who have no voice, or who are not using their voices, like it is your time to rise. It is your time. And this is the cosmic timing of rising and coming together and really empowering each other. Oh, and protection circles, you know, obviously me joining this lineage is offering like great protection from and shielding from the negativity, but like to offer this information and to help others and to offer this service, it's really me trying to aid you so you could live your best life, so that you can really stand up for your own integrity and what you want and the new world and future that you would like to see for yourself, your new reality. So finally, with all of this stuff, you know, just all taken care of, what you should know, what I'm trying to get out of with this video is that I'm re-debuting HyRhealing, and I am rebranding, and I'm coming from an angle that is not necessarily like new agey, not necessarily starseed, and not necessarily like only Vedic tradition stuff. Like it's going to be kind of a metamorphosis of all of those things, but mostly it's just personal. It's just about me and my spiritual life and how you can utilize spiritual divine methods and technologies for like practical application and integrate it in our 3D reality. That's where I'm going with that. That's what I want to do. If you continue to watch my videos and you find yourself like interested in a healing service, obviously to help you live your best life, then I am also available for that as well. In conclusion, if you liked this video, you liked my vibe, like, share, subscribe. Links and goodies are in the description box. And I don't really know how to end this, so we're just gonna catch you in the next video. Please stay tuned. Bye for now.